Hi guys, Going Green Mom here with an Instant Pot low lectin, low histamine tater tot casserole recipe for your Foodie Friday. It seems like I am forever dicing onions for you guys, but in reality, when you eat this way, if something tastes good, has natural antihistamine properties to it, and can add some flavor to your cooking, it's a really good base to start with. I have this set up on an induction cooktop, mainly because I don't know how you guys manage to film and cook at the same time on a stove. So I keep my camera up on the cabinet above, so I'm not actually holding it or moving it around while I cook. If you guys have hints or tips on how to make that all work, please feel free to give me some pointers in the comments down below. I am just seasoning this with some pink Himalayan salt, black pepper that is freshly ground, and garlic powder. I think it was actually granulated garlic. Either works. You could even use like minced garlic or fresh garlic in with the onions as well. Whatever works for you. You can add other seasonings as well. Honestly, I don't remember a whole lot of added seasonings in Tater Tot Casserole. Obviously, I am not going to be using cream of mushroom soup, which I know a lot of recipes call for. That just has a lot of ingredients and is not gluten-free and has a variety of issues with it. And it did not make it into the video because I pulled one of those scenarios where I thought I was recording and I wasn't. So I did add about halfway up the containers with some milk. You could easily use some broth. I wouldn't do quite as much. I used to do halfway up the 9x13 pan when I was cooking this in the oven, and it just doesn't evaporate quite the same as it does in the oven. So basically a splash of liquid so it doesn't dry out would totally be sufficient. Now, tater tot casserole, and I'm using hash brown patties. Yeah, I know. But when it comes right down to it, I'm using the meal prep containers I'm going to store this in. And hash brown patties are just flat. So they work really well. And that's what I happen to have in the house. Don't tell my daughter that I used most of her hash brown patties for this project, because the replacements I ordered did not come this week. They were out. So hopefully she's not too mad. And then I also don't like having aluminum foil right on my food. So I am using just a sheet of parchment paper over top. And I realized after the first one that I would wind up with a seam, and I didn't know how that would react. If it would basically funnel water into the container or not. So that's why I kind of... This is the first time I'm doing this, y'all. I have not done pot-in-pot cooking in the Instant Pot before tonight. But it was kind of fun. It worked out okay. And just make sure you get your water in there. And everybody seemed to use the trivets to go in and pull things out. So that didn't really work for me. I did put it under there. It does keep it off the bottom. But as you can see, I couldn't really get to the sides when I went to pull it out, especially not when it was hot. So I might... Honestly, there's several different containers that would work really well for this and eliminate the need for the parchment and the aluminum foil. And I'll probably wind up getting one of those, to be quite honest with you. So anyway, like I've mentioned before, 5 minutes at high pressure seems to be the magic number for denaturing the lectins and the potatoes and stuff, enough for me to not have reactions to them. So that is what I did here. There were green beans in the mixed vegetables, which I have reacted pretty strongly to since I started having histamine issues. And so I wasn't sure how that would be, but honestly, the only issue I had tonight was that I ate too much. And considering I ate a full one of those containers, plus an hour later I ate what I am making here, kind of understandable. So this is just a can of partially drained pears, and I have been trying to use up these cranberries. I was going to make cranberry salad with them, and honestly, I'm the only one that would have eaten it, and I just never made it. So then I'm adding about a half a cup of oats. I do get gluten-free organic oats. I think this batch was from the local co-op, but it may have been from Azure. Anyway, drizzled it with honey, no idea on how much. And then I'm putting a few pats of butter on here. This would have been much easier if the butter was cold. But for whatever reason, I had left the butter sitting out. So, and not like the butter in the butter dish, but like, it was like all of the sticks of butter were sitting out as well. So it didn't really work too well. Anyway, neither here nor there. I'm also reusing the parchment and the aluminum foil, so I don't have to get more out, because I had already put it away. And why not? Because the hash brown patties really wouldn't have been much of a flavor issue. So I am using mozzarella here just because I know I don't react much to it. Once I start getting into the Kojaks or the cheddars, I start having more reactions. Use whatever you would like, but make America great again, ban shredded cheese, as Stacy from Humorous Homemaking always says. And I just put that last one into the oven. I think it was 350 or 400 degrees, just to melt the cheese and brown it up a little bit. This one I am adding the cheese, and then I am just going to pop on the actual meal prep container lid, and it will actually go, well, it'll cool off a little bit first, but then it will go in the freezer. And this is round 2 getting done here. And I, likewise with the pear cranberry crisp, I just am going to crisp up those oats in the oven. If I didn't already have the oven on, I probably just would have used the toaster oven. But the oven's right next to me, to be quite honest. So, hope you guys have a great week. I will see you back here Tuesday.